Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Nat. I just got a few new subscribers, so I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you, welcome, thanks for joining us. And speaking of subscribers, I had a couple of requests to do a fighting-inspired makeup video, and at first I wasn't quite sure what they meant exactly, so then we had a brief conversation about martial arts and way back in my time, when I used to compete. But even after that conversation, I still wasn't 100% sure if they meant something like creative, like war paint style, or like makeup looks worn during a fight. So today I thought I'm going to start with functional versus a creative war paint style type makeup look. But if I'm wrong, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know with a bit more clarification. I also wanted to say thank you for this request, because throughout my life, I take moments to do self-reflection, and this is bringing me back to way over 20 years ago when I used to compete, and I guess a part of me that stayed in my teenager years. I also love challenges, so I appreciate a platform for me to think outside the box, or think outside my box. So way back when I used to compete, I actually competed in Taekwondo specifically, like your traditional competition style sparring. And I started competing when I was 12, because at 12, I actually stopped growing. I was the same size as I am now. I'm 5'5", and at 12, I competed in the adult division because I was, like I said, the size of an adult. And because it was Taekwondo, we had specific regulations, like we had to wear headgear, along with some padding and chest protector. But the point that I'm bringing up the headgear is how I wore my hair when I used to compete was I would tie my hair up in a ponytail right on the top of my head. And at that time, my hair was it wasn't as long as it is now. It was maybe collarbone length, but I had an undercut. So from here to this ear in the back, that whole bottom was shaved off, and then I wore my hair up in a ponytail, so the ponytail would fit outside of the hole on the top of the headgear. And honestly, back then, when I competed, I never wore makeup during a fight. I don't know if it was my age, mixed with the headgear kind of like is snug to your face. And you get sweaty, there's contact, so stuff gets all over the place. But I know current times is different. There's a lot more MMA fighting, or what I mean is like gearless type fighting. But even with that, I think, I'm not 100% sure, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I still think that in the ring, most girls opt to wear either no makeup or minimal makeup, because it can get in the way and it can affect your eyesight if it gets in your eyeballs, things like that. And for those of you who don't know, I actually stopped competing and stopped doing martial arts because I had a pretty severe back injury, and I've dislocated both my shoulders, which has led me in my older age now to actually have shoulder problems. So this morning, my best friend Sandra came over and braided my hair for me, because with my shoulder issues, I can't hold them back. And I used to be able to do this on myself. And actually in my late teens and my early 20s, I used to ride a motorcycle. And this is how I wore my hair under my helmet. If you're curious at all, I rode a Suzuki GSXR 600, also known as a crotch rocket. But I don't ride anymore either. But anyway, this video request gave me an opportunity to think about if I were to fight or compete today, I would imagine it would be more in a freestyle setting than a traditional Taekwondo sparring competition. So I would probably wear my hair like this, or even maybe combine the braids, put them in a bun, just so that the hair is completely out of the way and it's not grabbable. So far, all I have on my face is I've done my eyebrows, and actually for my eyebrows, I'm currently using this brow powder that I got off Amazon. It doesn't say it on the packaging, but according to the description on the Amazon app, this eyebrow powder has two colors. It's black brown. It claims to be waterproof and long wearing. The brand is BOOBEEN, like BOOBEEN. I quite like this powder, and I use it every day. It is very long wearing, although I don't know 100% if it's actually waterproof. Cause I've gone swimming, but my version of swimming in my older age is I don't get my face or my hair wet. And of course there is splashes of water because I have kids and I've never really lost an eyebrow in the process. But like I said, I can't say for sure if it's 100% waterproof or not. It is super long wearing though. And then I just have a light coat of mascara on. And today I've used the Half Magic Eyelectric in the shade Urchin. It's a long wearing tubing. I've had no smudging kind of mascara. And honestly, this is what I've been using lately and it's become one of my favorites. So that's what I've put on. If I were to participate in an actual fight these days though, I might opt for a fully waterproof type mascara. I don't know. Or maybe this one still. So yeah, as I was saying, this is probably the most that I would have on my face if I were to participate in a fight currently. I might opt to add a waterproof eyeliner just in my tight line. And just what I have laying around right now, it's the Wet n Wild Breakproof Waterproof Retractable Gel Eyeliner in black. So we're just going to go ahead and tight line a bit. It does just give the eyes a little bit more definition, but my concern would be having things get in my eyes. Although back in the day when I used to compete, I was a little bit more aware of my eyes because I used to wear contacts. But since then, I've had laser eye surgery. I think I've mentioned this before. So now it's not as big of a concern. And then I probably put something like this on my lips. It's the EADEM lip gloss or lip softening balm. And this one is in the shade, I don't know, it's in French, something about a croissant and butter. But it's more like, it's kind of clear with like a tiny bit of sparkles in it, I guess. But the main thing is to have your lips hydrated and coated almost, because they can split, they can get super dry, crack open, that kind of thing. And then at this point, probably, I don't know how fights go these days, if there's an actual like cut person, but I or someone else would do this for me, probably put Vaseline on the high points. So eyebrows, I don't have a whole lot of high points on my face because it's pretty flat, but like tops of the cheekbones, bridge of the nose, anywhere that's going to chafe, rub, or have the potential of being cut open, split open. So usually it's this area, like where just at the base of the brow bone. So this skin is very delicate. And once it splits open, it kind of just bleeds. Oh yeah. And thank you so much, Sandra, for coming over to braid my hair for me. She did such a great job, don't you guys think? If you guys weren't aware, my hair is super layered. It's cut into like a jellyfish style where there's tons of layers and it's super texturized. And the top half of my hair is almost like its own separate haircut from the bottom. And she did it so fast, super impressive. Anyway, now for the second part. Using my imagination, if I were to wear makeup during a fight, I would probably still keep it minimal compared to what I normally do, especially with my eyeshadow. But I would for sure start off with either a sweat-proof primer or my favorite, the Oil Sucker. These are both by One Size Beauty. And I think I've actually only tried this one other time. So for today's video, let's go with the Secure the Sweat primer. How many other martial artists are there out there? Leave me a comment, let me know. Or boxers, or any kind of fighting. Next, for foundation, I would suggest using either a waterproof foundation or a super long wearing one. Waterproof options like the Urban Decay Face Bond. Mine is in the shade 12 Light Neutral. Or the One Size Turn Up the Base Full Beat Liquid Foundation. This is also waterproof, and mine is in the shade Light 35N. Or for long wear option, the Maybelline Superstay is a really good option, and mine is in the shade 125. But for today's video, I'm actually going to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup, waterproof and super long wearing. And this one's been around for a long, long time, just like me. And mine is in the shade 3N1 Ivory Beige. I've just put some on the back of my hand. That's the one thing I don't like about this foundation. It's the bottle, not the foundation. But the bottle sucks, and I have yet to pick up an actual pump. I keep hearing that you can pick up a pump for the bottle on Amazon or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to go in with a 101 from BK Beauty. And then just start at the center like usual and really push it in. Yeah, I can't imagine wearing anything on my face during a fight or during a match, during sparring, because I feel like it would just, even with all the measures in place, like the waterproofness, I feel like it would just slip and slide everywhere, become like a soupy mess. But I know there are some girls out there that do wear makeup during a fight. It's probably personal preference, right? Like everything in life. I'm just being extra careful because I've already done my eyebrows. I think I forgot to mention, after this, look number 2, I plan on doing a third look, and that is more for events or interviews, or, you know, like the pre-fight situation where there's all the photographers around. Then it's more just about posing, I think, and looking fierce, right? Instead of functionality. And yeah, if that was the actual initial request for this video, to do like that kind of creative war paint look only for that moment, not for the actual fight, just leave me a comment and let me know. You know, like a fun, crazy look for intimidation, something like that. And then for a fight, even though I probably won't have tons of eyeshadow on, I would probably still prime my eyes with MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. And I'm just going to go in with an FO2 from Cinch Beauty. I apologize if you can hear my stomach growling. It happens quite often throughout the day, but I actually am not hungry. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys, but I only eat once a day. I'm an OMADder. I've been doing that for about 6.5 years. Oh my gosh, has it been 6.5 years already? Yes, I've been doing it for about 6.5 years, and I do it for health reasons. A while back, my thyroid stopped working. I have hypothyroidism and nothing was helping. I didn't really want to be on hormones for the rest of my life because that's usually the treatment for thyroid issues. So I actually started intermittent fasting just as an experiment for myself to see if it would work for me. Because with hypothyroidism, it's not just the weight gain. Like, yes, you do put on a ton of weight, but your whole body hurts, your joints hurt, like nothing functions properly. And the worst part about it is you feel like a zombie. The brain fog is something else. It's like I would struggle through my days. I always looked like I had no idea what was going on because I probably didn't have an idea what was going on. Yeah, just every day was like a struggle. It's one of those things where, like, if people didn't know that about you, like, you can't tell, aside from the weight gain, but it's one of those silent diseases or whatever. So yeah, if you've heard my stomach growl in any of my videos, that's the reason why. I usually eat at around 3:30 in the afternoon, depending on my day. On the weekends, I eat later. I've gotten to the place where it doesn't really matter what time I eat as long as it's just that one meal a day. It wasn't a struggle at all. If you guys want to hear more about it, just leave me a comment. I'll be happy to talk about intermittent fasting or hypothyroidism or only eating once a day in another video or something like that. Okay, now I'm just setting my eye primer like I usually do with Nikki's N14 and the Jason Wu setting powder, just because that's kind of my go-to and my favorite right now. It does a really good job of locking things in place and keeping my oils at bay. Actually, at this point, I don't know if I would actually even put eyeshadow on top of this. I don't know. Maybe we'll carry on with the face and see how I feel. But even if I were to put eyeshadow on, it would be all mattes, and I would probably just keep it super low key. What I really don't recommend is putting any kind of shimmer on, even though some people think a touch of shimmer or sparkles will add something to it. But in a fight situation, this is just my opinion though. In a fight situation, I feel like, what if one of those glitter particles or shimmer particles got into your eye and that messed you up? Because when you're fighting, you want everything to work for you, not against you. So for the rest of the makeup, the general theme too is choose things that are super long wearing, or if you can find products that come in a waterproof option, then that would be the best bet. From my collection, some suggestions are either the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, and mine is in the shade Medium Deep, or the Sephora Contour Stick. Mine is in the shade Light to Medium. This one's also super long wearing. Or even the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour, and this is in the shade Light Medium, I think. But for today's look, I'm going to go in with the Dior Contour Stick. The claims for this one is that it lasts up to 24 hours of wear and it can withstand heat and humidity. Mine is in the shade 03 Medium. I'm actually just going to put some on the back of my hand and pick it up with a BK Beauty 109. I'm just going to push it into my hairline. Now I'm just taking some off the product itself. I forgot that Dior products have a scent to it. It's not terrible, but I personally don't love it. And I'm okay with scents or fragrance, but this one is a little bit just not my cup of tea. But it's not gonna prevent me from using it. You know what I forgot? I forgot to put concealer on because I got thrown off by not doing my eyeshadow, because my usual process to my makeup is I do my under eye concealer after I've done an eyeshadow application. So again, when choosing a concealer, choose one that's long wearing, waterproof if you can. This one is the Dior Backstage Concealer, and it claims to be waterproof, super long wearing, crease proof. Mine is in the shade 2N. And I'd probably stick to like a super light application. A little bit of a highlight, because why not? And let's blend it out with an FO2 from Singe Beauty, or whatever your favorite concealer brush is. And now I'm just going to go back in with my contour bronzer brush with no added product though, just to blend that together. Now going back to the contour stick and my Patrick Ta nose contour brush. Like, I get the appeal of wanting to wear makeup during a fight, you know, to make your appearance a little bit more aggressive or intimidating. But just for me personally, I don't see the functionality in that. But like I said, I haven't fought or competed as an adult, as an actual adult, or in my later years. So I don't know, actually. I can't say for sure. Just flipping the brush over to blend it out. Back to my concealer brush with no added product. I like to run it back over the top of my nose. Now for blush, opt for something long wearing again, or if you can find it waterproof, great. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Blush Wand in Pillow Talk. This one is super long wearing. The Rare Beauty blush is a good option. And even the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. Or if you have in your collection one of those cheek stains, I'm not sure if I do. I might, but I couldn't find it this morning. Then yeah, the staining ones would last for quite a while. But for today's application, I think we're going to go in with the Huda Beauty, where I think it's like the blush filter. Yeah, the blush filter, and this is in the shade Latte. I'm just going to start off with a couple of dots. Or 3 dots, and they're totally not in the same spot. And I'm just going to use my other BK Beauty 109. I have one for blush and one for bronzer slash contour. I haven't used this blush in quite a while, actually. Maybe we will stick a tiny dot of the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush, and this is Suave. It's hard for me to say because I don't say mauve. I say mauve, but the shade name is Suave Mauve. But Suave Mauve doesn't really have a nice ring to it, does it? And now let's set everything. For my under eyes, I'm just going to use the Tower 28 Get Set Blur Press Setting Powder in Palisades Pink, and just a triangle puff from Amazon. And then for the rest of my face, I am just using the Jason Wu setting powder because it's extremely mattifying. Works really well to keep my oils away. I guess that's the thing too, like even if I'm working out, my version of working out, or like I usually do Zumba, I don't think I wear makeup. So I can't tell you if these products hold up in that kind of situation or not. But yeah, over the course of my life, I've done different kinds of workout type activities, like Aquafit. That was actually really good when I had the hypothyroidism and my whole body hurt, but that was really good. I've done cardio kickboxing. What do you guys do for workout routines? Oh, yoga. Yoga's a big one. That helps with my scoliosis. Okay, so with my normal makeup routine, I normally don't powder my cheeks. I just take the excess when I'm dusting this off and pat it on top. But for today's purposes, I think we should set everything, right? Alright, then I take Nikki's N14 and I push it further into the skin. And then a 102 from BK Beauty. Okay, for eyes, I think I am going to add some eyeshadow. This is just Patrick Ta's Major Dimension number 3, but you can use any light shades or any matte neutral palette that you have. I'm just going to take my Refer 33 and I'm going to use this shade and basically just to go over the entire lid. Because I'm liking the idea of keeping my eyes, the eye area, bright, clean, fresh looking for the match. My imaginary match. And then I'm just going to go in with the lightest shade and a flat shader brush. Do an underbrow highlight. Now for lips, I'd probably go in with something staining so that it lasts, because lip products are the easiest to come off. So I had no idea when I purchased this, but this Hydro Pop from ColourPop, it's a lip stain. I have mine in the shade 90s Babe. See, this is a previous swatch. And then we have the Kulfi lip stain, what is it, Lassie Lip Staining Lip Oil, and this is in the shade Rose. Here, let's try Rose on first. So that's what this one looks like. And for the Hydro Pops, I actually have two. One is 90s Babe and the other one is Baby Fox. But for today, let's try out the 90s Babe. Mainly because for me, it was the 90s when I used to compete. And for added hydration, I'm going to go on top with the EADEM Lip Softening Balm. And again, this is in that Croissant something butter shade. I'm Canadian, but my French sucks. Because actually, I only took 1 year of French. I don't really know French. Just because this adds a level of comfort and hydration. And there we have it. What do you guys think? This is a look that I would wear if I had to wear makeup for a fight, keeping it minimal. But the last step would actually be to set it with setting spray. If at this point you felt a little bit too powdery, you would probably go in with something like the One Size Powder Melt or any other setting spray that does the same thing, and then go on top with waterproof setting spray. My favorite is the One Size Until Dawn setting spray, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm going to show you another look. Okay, now for things like pre-game interviews or the press tour or even weigh-in. Weigh-in usually happens the night before for some things. Some weigh-ins are right before the match, just depending on what you're actually competing in. Any event where you got to keep the look of being a fighter, but you don't have to worry about aspects of your makeup affecting your performance. I personally would still do an all matte eye look. You guys know that I do love shimmers, but for something like this, I would do an all matte, like smoky eye. So let's start off with that. Again, I'm just using my Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 palette, and I didn't even realize that there are shade names on the back. So let's go in with the shade Staple, Staple, and a Refer number 16. So starting up in the outer corner crease area, we're just laying down a wash of color. In the background, our transition shade. Some people do their smoky eyes starting at the base and working their way up. There's different ways that you can do smoky eyes. There's different ways that I do smoky eyes, but today I'm feeling like doing it this way. Same thing on this side. So my intention with this look is, like most of my looks, they're always eye focused or eye heavy. But with this eye look, I was thinking with smoky eyes, it's classic, but at the same time, it gives a little bit of an edge, a little bit of intimidation. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Essential and a Morphe M433. Same thing, starting in the outer corner. Pulling it across the lash line. gently dragging it across. And we want the edges of this smoky eye to be soft and as blown out as possible. Let's even things up with the shade Fundamental and a slightly dirty Shoto 00. Okay, back in the outer corner. Using small circular motions to push it up into the crease. I just had a thought. I wonder if, because I feel like the lights that I have going on are washing out the tones. I wonder if this is better. Is this a better view? I'm not sure. Let's try it out for a bit. You guys can let me know in the comments. Pulling it across the lash line also. Gently blending it up in the crease. Just going back to the reference number 16 with no added product so we can soften out the top edge. And now let's deepen things up even further with the matte black shade. It is called Irreplaceable. And I'm just using the same Shoto 00. All right, now I'm gonna go back in with the shade Fundamental and the Morphe M433. And I'm just gonna put this shade right on top of the darker shades that are closer to my lash line. Just to blend out that line. Actually, now I apologize. I have to turn the lights back on because I'm having a difficult time seeing in my mirror. So now I want to intensify the area closest to my lash line. I'm taking the matte black shade, I forget what it's called off the top of my head, and now we're just going to push it in using an E25 from ColourPop. It's just a denser brush so we can really saturate this, push in the shade. You know, I often think about doing martial arts again, some kind of training. I just don't have the time. I know I've already powdered my face for the previous look, but with this look, I kind of want to brighten some more. So let's test this out. Let's go in with Tower 28 Swipe All Over Concealer, and mine is in the shade IE. I hope this doesn't get too gunky. I'm just blending it out with the FO2, sorry. I got so into this makeup look. Yeah, I feel like that looks a little bit better. What do you guys think? And now I'm just going to reset under the eyes, this time with Westman Atelier Vital Pressed something powder in Pink Bubble. Yeah, Pink Bubble. And a quick set of the rest of the face using Jason Wu setting powder. So now to finish up this eye look, let's take a little bit of the matte black and pop it in the outer corner of the lower lash line. And now let's take the mid-tone shade, soften out the edge. I just did liquid eyeliner and I put a pair of falsies on off camera. And let's see, what else do we need to do, or what else do I want to do? Okay, let's go in with Dim Light from Hourglass, and just I'm using a Sephora Pro Crease number 19, but you can use any blending brush. And I'm just gonna run that on the edge of my eyeshadow look. Doing this step kind of just softens any hard lines. And it's like an extra barrier that helps lock the eyeshadow in place. And I put the eyeliner in my lower lash line, also in my waterline. Now I think I want to amp up my bronzer a little bit, so I'm going to use the glistening bronze light. Yeah, the glistening bronze light from Hourglass, and this is from the Horse palette. And let's go in with a BK Beauty 104. Same shade for the nose. Let's not forget the jawline. I'm still curious. Let's try the blush bronze from this Dior highlighter palette. And an F05 from Singe Beauty. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty, hey? What do you guys think? And I'm still not sure which highlighter I want to use, but let's start with the Strobe Gold from the same Dior palette. And this is an F07 from Singe Beauty. Let's just run this on the top of the cheekbone. That's kind of pretty, right? All right, I think I'm going to add the Golden Hour highlight from the Hourglass palette. This is the Swan palette. Let's, ooh, yeah, like this. And I've just taken some on my finger, so we can put that on the tip of the nose. Tiny bit right here. And let's take an E11 from Singe Beauty and pop it in the inner corner. I'm feeling like I want a little bit more blush, so let's try Fire Moon from House Labs, and this is just a BK Beauty 112. Yeah, I think I like this. A little bit better, a little bit more intense. Now let's dip into Soft Light from Hourglass, and I'm just using a Rephr 05. Mainly because that fits the best in this little pan. And we're just gonna melt everything together. Blend out the edges so everything is nice and soft. Let's line again with the Mob Beauty. And this is the shade M159. And now let's go in with the shade Secrets. It's the same formula from Unearthly and Courtney Quarantine. But then I'm actually going to go on top with the Makeup Forever Super Boost in the shade Wherever Walnut. I forgot to do setting spray. My preference is to set my face before I put lip stuff on, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Liquid Blurring Balm. Lately, I've been really enjoying this one. On my fan, finally. And if I was actually going to an event, I would put the One Size Until Dawn on top of this to really lock it in. But there we have it. This is the final look. What do you guys think? I had fun doing this, so thank you so much to my subscribers who requested a look like this, or at least I think this is what you meant. Like I said before, if this isn't what you meant at all, just leave me another comment and let me know. But anyway, that wraps up this video, and thank you to all of you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, ha, ha.